I tried to draw SpongeBob in Realism. The result really shocked me.
Hi, it's Kiwi Art Channel, and today we will draw a world-famous animation character in realism style.
In this video, I'll show you 3 secret techniques, using which even a beginner will be able to repeat this drawing. So, let's start? I became curious about how a famous cartoon character would look in real life. For the drawing, I will need graphite and watercolor pencils, an eraser, brushes, and a sponge. Many people think that realism is a super challenging technique, and it is, but you need to know some tricks which I will explain in the video. Observation and sketch. Any realistic drawing starts with choosing the object to draw. It can be anything, a still life, a portrait, a landscape, etc. But in our case, it's a sponge. You need to pay attention to details. Observe the texture, shape, and proportions. Try to see the object as if you are looking at it for the first time, even if it's something ordinary. After this, we can move on to the sketch. We will start with the overall contours of SpongeBob to establish its shape and proportions. We outline the face and clothing. In the background, we also make some hints of the surroundings so the character doesn't look alone on the sheet. It's also important to determine the light source in your composition. This can be natural lighting or an artificial light source. Observe how light falls on the object and creates shadows. Pay attention to the shape and gradation of the shadows. In this drawing, I chose 2 light sources. The first one is the main source. It shines from above at an angle onto the front part of the sponge. The second one is a contour light. It barely shines from behind. After this, we choose the base color and cover the sketch with it. Now, let's work on creating smooth transition from light to shadow using soft pencils or blending. Here you can experiment with different tones and degrees of brightness to achieve a more realistic appearance. Let's move on to the core technique. Now we can start adding finer details. Begin with the eyes. It's essential to meticulously capture every feature of the face. Use darker pencils to emphasize the shadows and contours of the eyes. Then I move on to the cheese and do the same. SpongeBob with so many cheese looks very strange, don't you think? Next, you need to create the texture of SpongeBob's skin with the help of pores. Make them much deeper by adding darker shadows and highlights. Use shading and pencil work to create smooth transitions between light and dark areas, making the character more voluminous and realistic. At the final stage, emphasize the contours and details to make them clearer and more expressive. That's it. Let's compare the result with the 2D drawing. I think SpongeBob in realistic style looks scary. It's much more familiar to see him in 2D. It's a good thing that cartoon was not drawn in realistic style. When drawing in realism technique, don't forget that this style requires time and patience. Work on each element one by one and refer to the original image for precise detail reproduction. Regular practice will help you improve your skills and create more realistic drawings. If you liked it, please like and comment on which character to draw next.